Hi, and welcome to a new show called the Principal's Corner. This show is going to be aired monthly, and it's designed to give you news, information about Seekonk High School and what's going on in Seekonk High School. We'll highlight athletics, staff members, students, and academics so that everybody has an idea of exactly how things are going here at Seekonk High. My name is Dr. Chris Jones. I'm the new interim principal here at Seekonk High School, so I'll be hosting this show. And today I brought with me Mr. Kevin Aguiar, who is the new interim assistant principal. So, Mr. Aguiar, welcome, first off.
Thank you very much.
And if you could just tell us a little bit about your first month here at Seekonk High, getting acquainted with things and how things go.
Yeah, I think the month's gone real well. The students are tremendous. I've met many students, and they're all of high quality. The staff is unbelievable. That's one of the biggest things that I realized when I was coming into a new school, halfway through the school year. How was it going to be, fitting in with the staff, fitting in with yourself as the interim principal? Everything's been great. You've been great with me, the ladies in the office, the teachers, the paraprofessionals. Everyone's been real nice to me, and it's really nice to have that. I feel welcome here at school. And as far as students go, students are doing remarkable things, and I think it's a great idea for this show to highlight some of those things.
That's great, and I like how you talked about the staff. They really are top-notch. I've had nothing but support moving into this position as well, and since I've been here, they've always been supported. Everybody that you've mentioned, the secretaries and everything in the front office.
They're here for the right reason, and I think it tells in the way they treat the staff, treat each other, but also how they treat the children. The students here are treated very well by the staff, and it's really impressive.
Oh, that's good. Now, you have a real diverse, rich background, which was one of the things that really stood out when we were interviewing you. The idea that you're an experienced assistant principal, you have a background in guidance, you have a background in mental health. Could you talk to us a little bit about that and what you bring from that to your position now as it is?
Yeah, it's been an interesting run for me to become involved in education. When I first got out of college, I actually worked in the private sector and wasn't even considering education at all. And it was interesting. I went out, I worked hard. I worked for an anti-poverty agency at first, and that taught me about life, taught me about how to help people that are struggling. I think that made me who I am as a person. And I decided to go back to school to be a counselor, and that was after about 10 years of hard work. So I'm still paying off my college loans, but ultimately I was able to get a counseling degree. I'm also a licensed mental health counselor, as you said. So I get to deal with adults, deal with children, families in various ways. And the needs are great in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts right now, not only in Seekonk, but where I came from in Fall River, the needs were even greater. So that's where I was an assistant principal. I've learned a lot through that process, and now coming here to Seekonk, I'm only looking forward to being one member of the team that's going to take them to the next level.
Excellent. That's great. Now, you're a member of a community board, too, is it?
Yeah. I'm on the board of directors of the Child Advocacy Center of Bristol County. So although I do live in Fall River, we service the entire county. So I think it's a real good program. It helps children that have been abused in one way or another, and I really support the community. So at the same time as I'm working for free there, volunteering, it's something that I believe in my heart, and we're going to be doing great things to support people in need.
That's great. I mean, that really shows your commitment to students and commitment to community, so that's fantastic. Do you have any, I mean, looking forward, obviously that is how you deal with students when you meet students, because a lot of people hear assistant principal and they think that it's just all discipline. Obviously, I mean, you've been around for a month, so there are different things that you do besides that. Any plans that you really want to kind of dig your hands into?
Well, I think one of the big ones is the whole child. And I think that's an initiative that we're all on the same page with. That Seekonk High School is a high-performing high school, in my opinion. But it's how do we take it to the next level? How do we take it so that it's one of the highest-performing high schools and school districts in the Commonwealth? I think that's your goal. I second that goal, and I think we can do it. I think we're lucky with the fact that they're already high-performing, but how do we take it to the next level? And how do we, in the world of college and career readiness, that's the buzzword that everybody talks about, but what truly does that mean? Does that mean that the student, if you pass a couple of tests, you get out of high school, you go to college, you pass tests, are you ready for college and career, or ready for your career? I'm not so sure. So we have to make sure we balance things between academics, between clubs and different activities, helping our students be resilient. Those are life skills that I think we need to teach in addition to teaching to a test or letting them pass whatever exam it may be. So I think that's a major challenge, not only for Seekonk High, but for schools across the Commonwealth. And I mean, I'm ready for the challenge. I'm looking forward to working with you, working with the community, and working with all these great teachers and students to make a difference.
That's excellent. And you know, to kind of bring it full circle, you mentioned how great the students were and that they were doing great things here. That definitely is. When you look at whole child and the idea that it's not just about academics, that there are other things that we focus on, which is what I hope to bring out in future episodes of this show. So it's, I mean, it's great talking to you about that and hearing that, and everything that you've done so far follows suit with what you're saying. So I think that's great. I don't want to cut you short, but we do have to move on to the next segment, which what we're going to be doing is talking to Mr. Fred Crippen and Miss Kristen Nelson concerning athletics in our athletic department and a new program we have here at Seekonk High School. So we'll be back in a few moments. Thanks.
Today's young adults juggle a mountain of tasks and responsibilities. From school to work, social schedules, community service, sports, and family responsibilities. Luckily, today's young adults have cell phones to help manage these tasks and keep in touch with all the important people in their lives. Cell phones are amazing and connect us to the entire world. But when used behind the wheel of a car, they can be dangerous. But why is this so dangerous? The average text takes a person's eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. So, it isn't surprising that a texting driver is 23 times more likely to get into a crash than a non-texting driver. Yet, 3 out of 4 young adult drivers are confident they can safely text while driving. Why have young adult drivers so misjudged the danger of texting while driving? 32% of young adults that drive while distracted say they simply don't think anything bad will happen to them. 22% say it makes driving less boring. And 34% say they're simply used to multitasking. The shocking truth is that distracted driving, which includes texting while driving, is the #1 killer of teens in America. But you can reverse this trend through simple changes in your driving habits. Our phones may have changed the way we live, but it's up to us to change the way we use our phones. Here are 4 easy ways to stop texting while driving. Turn your phone notifications off while you're driving. Put your phone where you can't get it when you're in the car. No phone, no texting. Use an app to help you stop texting and driving. Or, if you're riding with a friend, have them text for you. Passengers get the privilege of texting while in motion. Drivers do not. So how will you stop texting while driving? Share your tips, spread the word, and join the movement online.
I'm always so bored after school.
Me too. I wish I had something to do.
Well, why don't you volunteer? There's plenty of opportunities for you to do something.
Yeah, but I always want to hang out with my friends.
Well, you could get your friends to volunteer, or you could join a club like AV Club, Paper Cuts, Science Club. There's so many.
How do I find out the volunteers for these clubs?
All you gotta do is go to guidance for a list of the clubs, or you could talk to an advisor like me about the club and when it meets, and I'm sure they'll be happy to have some new members.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning into the Principal's Corner, a new show here at Seekonk High School designed to keep you up to date on different happenings around our school, having to do with athletics, academics, and new personnel and students. Once again, my name is Christopher Jones. I'm your host, and this segment I've brought with me Miss Kristen Nelson and Mr. Fred Crippen to talk to us a little bit about sports. Miss Nelson is a social studies teacher here at Seekonk High School, and Mr. Crippen is the new athletic director. So, your new position is athletic director. Everything you thought it would be?
And more. You know, I sort of had a background in athletics. I've been coaching since 1976, and I've been around a lot of athletic directors, and I sort of saw what was going on, and I sort of had an idea what the life would be like. And now that I've entered into the life, I can tell you that the number of hours you spend on campus is dramatic. It's the wonderful world of administration, something I'm sure you can speak to.
Oh, yeah.
The paperwork, the day-to-day, the filing, the data processing. bottom line is the day flies by, much more so than it ever did in the past. And I sort of had an idea what I would be dealing with boosters clubs, the MIAA, physicals for athletes, bus schedules, and, you know, dealing with the coaching staffs and the student athletes themselves. So, in short, I guess it has lived up to its expectations, and I've had the opportunity to, what I really like, to get out and see all the sports programs, because when you were coaching, you were sort of wedded to just one athletic program, whether it was football, basketball, or baseball. But I've had an opportunity to get out and not only see the games, but to see the practices and to see the coaches and the players interact with one another. So I've enjoyed it.
I do have to say, working with other athletic directors, that you are very hands-on. I do see you out at a lot of practices, and one of the things that impressed me about you when you were interviewing is the breadth of knowledge you have about all sports. It's not like you're pigeonholed into one sport. You say you've been involved in sports. You definitely have been. You know a lot about the different sports.
Well, I enjoy them all, you know, and the fact that you saw me out and about is a testament to the fine weather we had this fall. It was really, really pretty outside, and a lot of sunshine, and as opposed to just sitting in a cubicle, it was really an easy decision for me to make, although it was part of my job.
So we have fall sports that are past. We're in the middle of the winter season now, and we've got spring coming up. Any thoughts on the past season, the current, or the present, and what you're planning on doing?
To be honest with you, you know, the fall season was a tremendous success right off the bat. I want to say that ballpark estimate, probably 3 out of 4 students that competed in the fall competed in postseason play. Wow. We had 4 out of the 6 teams qualify for the state tournament. There were a lot of great stories. Cross country, we had to be sort of like start the world over again now that all the Sallets and the Mullins and the Gregorics all left. So we sort of had to go right back to square one, and I know Coach Mooney and Coach Horton did a wonderful job trying to restock and retool with freshmen, and still holding on to key leaders like senior Emily Ferreira. The golf team, well, what can you say? That's, you know, the wonderful, wacky world of Coach Petrucci. They got off to 2 weeks where they didn't win a match, and then they qualified for the state tournament on the last day of the season. So they got red hot. The soccer bunch, what can you say? I mean, the boys made it, qualified for the state tournament. Took a nasty boat ride out to Martha's Vineyard where their season was put to rest. Right. But they had a fine year, and obviously one of the most compelling stories of these fall was the girls soccer team. What a storyline there was there. It was just something right out of Walt Disney. They contended for the conference title. They had a Boston Globe All-Scholastic on their team in Emma Sanders. They went all the way to the quarterfinals of the state tournament before getting knocked out up in Brockton. And they were really a lot of fun to watch. They were really a compelling story. Field hockey team, I could say the same thing. They had an outstanding year with seniors Jenna Smith and some other folks, sophomore Alyssa Polwin. They have some really talented kids. They came within a game of winning the conference title. Volleyball, well, I mean, what do you say? I mean, those are Earl's girls, as they say. I can say unqualifiedly that we at Seekonk High School had the largest volleyball team in the United States of America. Just pure volume and numbers.
How many numbers were we up to?
73.
73.
Across a freshman, JV, and varsity program. Which meant that next year we're just gonna order wholesale from every uniform manufacturer known to man.
I guess depth is not a problem on that team.
Depth is not a problem. No, transportation is. You know, I mean, I don't know how many buses they're going to employ, and but they had a good year as well. I mean, I'm very, very pleased with all of the fall sports. It was remarkable right off the bat. It was a lot of fun, and football. They got off to a rocky start and rebounded real well, went on a 3-game tear, and then had a reasonable season coming down the stretch. Winter, well, we're about halfway through the winter season right now, and The basketball team, the girls are trying to do something that hasn't been done in 20 years, and that's qualify for their state tournament. It's hard to believe, but it was 1996,
Wow.
the last time the girls basketball team went to the state
They're
tournament.
close too, if I'm right, aren't they?
They are a game over 500 right now, and they've got about 7 or 8 games left, and it could be right down to the last
Well,
game.
that's what
But
makes
it's a lot
it
of fun.
exciting. Yeah.
The boys have a brand new coaching staff, and we're excited in the direction they're going.
Good.
Alex DeLuz and Sean Smith and Ryan Cronin have done a wonderful job. Looks like they're trying to turn things around there and put their own stamp on things going forward. And the boys and girls indoor track team, they still have outstanding numbers, and our weight team is doing remarkably well with
Good.
the Arabian girls.
Yeah.
Looking toward the spring, I'll tell you what, I don't see anything but great things. I think our softball program is in great shape. Our baseball team is young and exciting. And Coach Petrucci will be back out there in action with
There you
tennis in a full suit. That's not to be missed. And I think it'll be just, I'm very happy.
Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Crippen, for telling us about all those sports in such a comprehensive manner. We're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to be speaking to Miss Nelson about a brand new program we have here at Seekonk High School.
You're asking me? I'm kind of going with somebody.
That's so embarrassing.
No.
No?
No.
No.
No. Nope.
No.
No.
Will you go to the prom with me?
No. Oh, please.
Want to be on STV News?
STV News episode.
Want to work with cameras and video editing software? Then join TV Production 1. In TV 1, you'll learn how to use a camera, how to edit videos, how to work audio, and even how to direct. TV 1 offers credit in tech courses which can be applied to the STEM certificate, which can get you scholarships for college. TV 1 counts as a tech class and a practical art. Join TV 1 today.
Hi, welcome back, and once again, thanks for tuning into the Principal's Corner, this new show that we've developed here at Seekonk High School, or I should say in the process of developing, to highlight some of the things going on here at Seekonk High School. My guests here are Mr. Crippen, the athletic director, and Miss Kristen Nelson, who is a social studies teacher, but she's actually doing something very special here at Seekonk High School by way of a brand new program that we're going to be instituting this spring. So talk to us about this new program.
So Mr. Crippen and myself were working on developing a unified sports program here at the high school. And basically what unified sports is, it's pairing athletes that with intellectual disabilities with athletes that do not have intellectual disabilities who would be considered partners. And basically they'll compete on the same sports teams. And all those sports are governed by both the MIAA and Special Olympics. Here at the high school, we're going to start with track and field. And there'll be 8 events, 3 field events, and 5 track events. So that's what we're going to start with. And if it works out well, we hope maybe we'll have unified basketball in the future, or some other unified sports, but we're going to start with track and field.
That's excellent. Bringing something like that to all students, this whole idea of, I had mentioned comprehensive before when talking to Mr. Crippen about athletics, and the idea that we're including all sports. We had Mr. Aguiar on here earlier in the first segment, and he talked about the whole child. So it's great that we're not just focusing on academic type students, sports type students, we're putting the whole thing together. Now, the Unified Sports Program, you said it's governed by the MIAA,
Yep.
which governs sports for all of high school in,
Yep.
in Massachusetts, and the Special Olympics. So
Yes.
this is a pretty big deal.
Yes. And the reason why we think it's so important is because that this is, most of the schools in the conference already have it, and there's about 6 teams or 6 schools that are jumping on board this year along with Seekonk.
Oh, wow.
And the other big thing is Unified Sports falls under the umbrella of Project Unify. So, and Project Unify hopes to foster this idea of inclusion, of including the whole student, like that you were just talking about. So we hope that part of Seekonk High School, what we're going to be working towards, is moving in that direction of acceptance and respect, and removing all those labels and those stigmas that have been stuck. So not just out on the track and field, but also here in school, and maybe when kids leave school, that those ideas are going to be taken with them.
That's fantastic. And it seems like if there are other teams in the conference that are doing this, it's already almost a pre-built type schedule. So we're going to have competitions. And do they have a championship type deal at the end, or?
Yep. So there'll be 3 or 4 meets, and then there'll be a sectional championship. And then from there, if students qualify, they'll go on from there.
Oh, that's excellent.
But there will be a conference tournament as well before they get to the sectionals. It's interesting. The whole thing came out of a conversation that just happened last year with Kristen, where she was asking me, what do you guys do here for Special Olympics or anything like that? And at that time I was like, I don't know. I don't think we did. And then as luck may have it, a grant was available through this Project Unify and SOMA, Special Olympics of Mass, that we applied for and received. And we're fortunate enough to have Chris, who was very interested in doing it, and we'll commandeer the program and we'll see where it goes. I mean, it'll be the first time we've ever done this here. It's exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
One of the things that is actually really exciting about it is when it was brought up, the idea that you stepped forward first and just said, you know, this is something worthy, and I want to take it on, and I want to run with it.
Well, I'd coached for a lot of years in Rhode Island. Every time I went to any of the banquets that they had for the Interscholastic League, part of it was they recognized all of these unified sports programs, and I would say to Mr. Crippen every time, I would say, how come we don't have anything like that here? And all the kids would talk about how it was such a rewarding experience. I said, you know, I teach social justice and about the idea of equality and moving towards that, and this is a big part of something that I think that we need to promote. I love sports, but I also like that idea of promoting equality in our society, and I think that's part of it. So that's why I thought it would be such a good thing to bring to our school.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I look forward to, you've heard his announcements, but other people in the audience may not have, that every morning or afternoon, Fred is on the intercom saying, "Good morning, campers," and giving the rundown of athletics. When I was speaking to you earlier about what's planned for the spring, I'm looking forward to this. This is a huge part of the spring, and hearing those announcements in the morning about how these students have performed in these competitions.
So we've developed a website. We hope to get that website out there. So that way, hoping to recruit not just the athletes, but also the partners. We've had a few students come forward saying they would already want to jump on board. Also people that want to volunteer. So
excellent.
That
says a lot about the students here at Seekonk High School as well. The idea that you start this new program, and I'm sure being a partner, there's a lot involved in being a partner. It's almost like a coach type of role. I mean, it's lesser obviously, but the idea that they're willing to jump in and do something like this.
Exactly.
So, a lot of interest, but that's great. I'm glad to hear that. There's a lot of good things coming up for Seekonk High School in athletics in the spring. So great job, Kristen, and great job, Fred. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for tuning in to the Principal's Corner, this first edition of it. Once again, I'm Chris Jones, the interim principal of Seekonk High School. And if you ever have any questions about what's going on at Seekonk High School, don't hesitate to give us a call or check out our website. We've got a lot of good information on there as well. But as you can see, there are a lot of things going on at Seekonk High School that you might not know about. So make sure to tune into this monthly show and get a quick dose of all the good things that are happening. We're all a community, the school, the outside community. So working together as one, we can help all our students succeed to levels they never even thought they could. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great week.